Hey there, I'm Charlotte with Colorful Teaching for You. Thank you so much for joining me. Today we are going to be looking at how we can create goals effectively for teachers both in and out of the classroom. So I have done a lot of research, and one of the things I found is that when we are looking for how to set goals for teachers, we often find goals for teachers within the classroom only. And I started to wonder why that was, because there's more to you and I than just our profession, right? We are individuals beyond the classroom. At least I hope we are. And so I decided to create this episode so that we could learn how to create goals for for ourselves, both within and outside of the classroom. And if you hear any distortion or noise, I'm sorry, my baby's playing downstairs, so it might get a little bit loud there. This episode today is brought to you by the Colorful Teaching Club, where we take episodes like this or topics like this and we break it down into really minute pieces so that you can really take action, and we do it step by step together. And if you're interested in that, the link will be associated with this video. But for now, let's get right into it because we're busy people, right? So let's get focused. The first thing I want you to do, I hope you have a page out there because we're going to get right to work. So the first thing is look at the year that we've just finished. So if you are a teacher, then today hopefully was your last day of school like it was mine. Yay! And so we've done so much so far this year, and so I'd love for you to take a pen and paper out and reflect on last year. How you're going to do this is by dividing your page into two, and you're going to look at your teaching section and your personal section. Now, if you're a homeschooling parent, this will also work for you. So what I want you to do is answer two questions. One, what went well for you? And the other side is, what do you need to work on? Now, really just brain dump everything. I'm going a bit faster here because I don't have the time to sit down and wait. But what you can do is when the replay comes out, which it will shortly after, you can totally stop, pause this video, and just keep on adding to this as you go along, okay? So that's this year. Now, after that, the second step is to look at the upcoming year. So January, February, March, that's coming up, right? What you want to do is look at two different things. What went well for you that you want to carry on into this year? So what did you try? Was it classroom management techniques? Was it being more present with your family? What did you try that you want to continue on into this year? The second question I want you to think about is what's something new that you want to try? Just one thing new for your personal life and your professional life. Okay? So those are the two steps. The first, you reflected on the past year. The second is you're looking ahead at the upcoming year. And the third now is, now that you have a visual of where you're going, I want you to be really, really specific. So the third step is to get specific. What do I mean by that? I'm going to be looking down here because I've got some notes here. I want you to create 1 to 2 goals for each, your personal life and your professional life. I encourage you not to do more than 1 to 2 because one of the things I find as teachers, our lives are so busy. So if you were to create too much, you're going to feel overwhelmed and stressed out, and that's really not what I want for you. When you've accomplished these 2 goals, then you are welcome to come back, revisit this video, and then come up with 1 or 2 more goals. Deal? So let's do this. Now, for me, I'm going to give you an example, and then you're going to do this, okay? For my professional life, my teaching life, what I want to do is I want to look at, I want to learn how to gamify my math classes. So I'm going to start doing this by collaborating with a grade 4 teacher because she is really good at this. I'm really good at like crafting and innovating, but coming up, like gamifying is not really my forte yet, and I want to learn how to do that. Beyond just talking to her, I'm going to do additional research. And I want to integrate this into my finance lesson that's going to be coming up in January when we get back. It's starting right away, so it means I get these 2 weeks to really learn how to implement this, okay? So notice how I was very specific. What do I want to do? What specific subject is it going to be focused on? When is it starting? And how am I going to get there, okay? The next thing for my personal life is I want to be able to spend more time with friends. Now that's really vague, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to write down at least 2 people that I want to talk to or I want to connect with. And I'm going to be doing this on Monday. I'm going to start this process on Monday. I'm going to make sure I contact one person this week and another person next week, and we're going to connect. Okay? So I was very specific. If I were to write this down, I'd probably even write down the names. It's just I would prefer not to list out names here right now. Okay? So if you've noticed, I want you to be as specific as possible, and the fourth step is to get to check it. And what I mean by this is I want you to connect with a family member or friend, and I want you to have them look over your goals, because a lot of the times some of us come up with these grand ideas, and that's great, but if they're not actionable, it's going to really suck you dry. Okay? You know, like I don't want you to come up with like, I want to, you know, ride a unicorn that's made of that's part horse or something. I know that's a huge exaggeration. I know you're not going to do that, but come up with something realistic. It can be ambitious, but something that's attainable, because you need to be able to show me how you're going to get there, or not show me, but show yourself how you're going to get there with the following step. So check it with somebody so that you have a sounding board, and then with the fifth step, I want you to really list it. That means I want you to come up with chunkable steps of how you're going to achieve this. You don't need to say when you're going to do it, but right now just come up with those steps that you need. Almost like a checklist, eh? I love checklists. So almost like a checklist that you're going to do in order to achieve these goals. Now, if you want to go into more depth, I just created, actually about half an hour ago, I uploaded a planner for teachers. It's in the planning section. It'll be labeled with this video, and it goes into detail about how to go through this entire process, and it'll walk you through the listing step. But if you don't want to, that's okay too. I also have a free resource about reflecting on your year in my free resource library, www.colorfulteachingforyou.com/freebies. Link will be associated with this video. In the meantime, I want to recap really quickly what we talked about. We've looked at 2 different types of goals, professional and personal. I do have a resource that goes into more depth with the personal, but I don't want you to go there just yet because it's a lot. I want you to really just focus for right now, and then when you've really honed in on this, we can kind of take a step back and we can really broaden our horizons there. Okay? So we looked at personal and professional, and then we broke that down when we're creating those goals for each of those segments into 5 steps. And the first step would be to look at your previous year or this year. Then you want to look at your upcoming year, and then you want to really get specific with your goals, like your big goal. Then you want to be able to check it with a friend, and then you want to list it into small chunkable bits so that you can start taking action right away. Either this, if you create this weekend, you can start right away, or you can wait into January or February, whenever you're comfortable. I would rather you start as soon as possible. So, and if you have any questions about it, please don't hesitate to contact me. Send me a private message, and I will be very happy to support you in any way that I can. Okay? So, in the meantime, remember to download my free resource if you'd like some support, or contact me. And I would love for you to remember to create, experience, and teach from the heart. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you next week, same place, same time. Take care, my friends. Bye.